Natasha Dalai and welcome to Tibet This Week, a weekly feature in English that tells you about this week's news on Tibet, His Holiness the Dalai Lama and the Central Tibetan Administration. Let's look at the headlines first. People are fed up with violence and nurture genuine desire for peace, His Holiness says in Ladakh. CTA President discourages self-immolation protests, urges Tibetans to contribute substantially to the cause. India raised Tibet issue and suffering of Tibetans with China, Indian External Affairs Minister confirms. Doklam is only a symptom of China's expansionist foreign policy, CTA President Dr. Lobsang Sengye said. On Thursday last week, His Holiness the Dalai Lama addressed a seminar titled Communal Harmony, Foundation of World Peace in Ladakh. In his address at the seminar, His Holiness spoke about peace as the only way forward and urged everyone to shun violence and nurture and advocate a compassionate mindset. His Holiness said, "We face a multitude of problems, but among them, conflict in the name of religion is unthinkable and shameful. Such narrow-minded, short-sighted thinking is out of step with times. We have to work with the welfare of whole humanity in mind." On Wednesday this week, the President of Central Tibetan Administration, Dr. Lobsang Sengye, appealed against self-immolation in exile and urged Tibetans to pursue more powerful means by honing one's educational, professional, and personal competency to substantially contribute to the Tibetan cause. Speaking to the press, CTA President said, "As a Tibetan and a Buddhist, we are here to offer prayers for the deceased. But the Kashak has consistently and categorically discouraged self-immolation, especially in exile, where Tibetans have the complete freedom to pursue any meaningful means that would contribute to the Tibetan cause. While we understand the plight of Tibetans inside Tibet and the situation under which they have to resort to such actions, Tibetans in exile have the freedom to participate in protests of any form one chooses to do. We have had other cases of self-immolations in exile. Parents of self-immolators have voiced the same concern and have urged the youth to pursue more powerful means such as education. We therefore discourage all Tibetans, especially the youth in exile, from resorting to such drastic action and urge them to pursue more powerful means to substantially contribute to the Tibetan cause," the President said. On Thursday last week, India's External Affairs Minister Sushma Swaraj confirmed to the Rajya Sabha that India raised the issue of Tibet and the ongoing atrocities on the Tibetan people by the Chinese government in Tibet. Srimati Sushma Swaraj responded to the question posed by one of the members of the parliament and said, "There is no quid pro quo with China on the issue of sufferings of the Tibetan people. We used to earlier talk of one China policy, but we used to say that Arunachal Pradesh is an integral part of India. And when we say that, we want that China should also recognize this. Our policy has always been made very clear," she said. On the question of whether India remained a mute spectator towards alleged atrocities in Tibet, the minister said, "We are not sitting as a mute spectator. Whenever there are differences, we raise them." The question was raised by Dr. Narendra Jadhav, a nominated member of the parliament. She further clarified that the Indian government allowed His Holiness the Dalai Lama to visit Arunachal Pradesh and that it was the Tibetan spiritual leader's 6th visit to the state. "Whatever issue that is there that goes against India's interests, we lodge our protest," Swaraj said. On Wednesday last week, while addressing the Indian students at Hansraj College, the President of Central Tibetan Administration, Dr. Lobsang Sengye, pointed to the ongoing incursion at Doklam as a symptom of China's expansionist foreign policy. Dr. Sengye reckons China as the #1 challenge to India, as stated by former Defense Minister George Fernandes and recently by former Defense Minister Mulayam Singh Yadav in the parliament. Dr. Sengye decried China's nationalistic design which is increasingly becoming apparent with South China Sea, East China Sea, Scarborough Island, and increasing border incursion across the McMahon Line and now at Doklam. Dr. Sankey cautioned India to stay alert on this matter and said that he always tells India and the world to take heed of the Tibet narrative. We have been telling India for the past 50 years that what happened to us could happen to you. One has to understand Tibet to understand China.
And now what you see in Doklam, in bordering Sikkim and Bhutan, that is also a challenge in front of us. As a Tibetan, I can share this, what you see in Doklam is a symptom. Because Mao Zedong has said in the 1950s, we occupied Tibet. We have to occupy Tibet because Tibet is the palm. And the 5 fingers are Sikkim, Bhutan, Nepal, Arunachal Pradesh, and Ladakh. These are the 5 fingers. Once we get the palm, Tibet, we will extend ourselves to 5 fingers. This was said in the 1950s, and what you see now in Doklam is part of that action. So hence, this is a challenge for India as well.
The Doklam Plateau is a Bhutanese territory. The standoff between the Chinese and the Indian armies of the 2 countries began in mid-June this year and has been officially one of the longest between both countries since 1962 war. So much for this week. See you next Friday. Have a great weekend.